5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Right folks, today I'm going to a PRS rimfire shoot. I've never gone one before, never done one. I've been invited and I've sort of begrudgingly decided to go for a bit of a laugh. It's September, it's going to be the end of summer, so I might as well make the most of it while I can. Now, I'm not sure which box is the most current of these two, but I got given a set of AimCam Pro 3 Cray glasses. So these do vision and sound, so I thought in a way of trying to make the day as light and simple as possible, I'm going to try and film as much as I can of the day using just the glasses and with just the sound from the glasses. So stick with me and let's see how we do, because I need to make sure I'm looking exactly in the right direction, not looking at cameras and things. But there we go. Wish me luck.
In a quarter of a mile, merge onto M1. Turn right, then your destination will be on the right.
Impact. Impact.
Keep going. Alright. Let that last shot. Ewan, you alright to spot these next couple? You've been, haven't you?
55 and 80.
Ah. Oh, just you two to go, because Barry's not doing these one, is he? So Barry's not doing these for this side. So for all your procrastinating, that like you shite and all this lot, and like you don't give a shit, you're fucking in lead. Right, are we ready? What are we waiting for here? I don't know what we're waiting for.
Hi.
Oh, we're waiting for this, and right, we're off then. Is it working?
Well, I think so, but have you?
You understand the course of fire, sir?
I think so. It's first and third then, isn't it?
First and third, 55, 85 from each position. One,
And I can go into the corner.
you can go in the corner.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 shots from each near far.
Near far.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right. Spotter on. You in? You alright?
Yep.
Cool. Ready?
Yeah.
Cool. 5, 4,
3, 2, 1, go.
Impact. Impact.
Target's getting destroyed.
Do you know? Where's he gone? Where's Crispy? Yeah, I've just done him. Yeah.
Is anybody on operations and can't be seen on video, by the way? Because these are videoing. Hello. You are?
Jeff. Is that an AimCam?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Bit more. But I'll watch you when you're on it. Don't worry. So. Right. So first up, who were first last time? Sorry, just remind me. You were you?
Yeah.
So we've got Chris P first.
Oh,
Well, you're in fucking front, so don't be giving
20, 65. So we need 1.3 different.
Is there a red?
Yeah, let's have a look.
It is on. Is the red light flashing?
I don't know.
Don't flap them around.
Yeah.
Yes, they're on. Right, hang on a minute. I need to remember what the fuck I was thinking there.
So we're doing, just as a reminder,
I can remember this bit. Long, short.
You're doing-
long, short, long, short.
from each position, you're doing 65 and then the 120, the one big and right at the back.
Big and right at the back.
So it's a 65, the second target, it's like on quite a tall hanger. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the far one. So 65, 120.
Right, let me just
Got
work
it?
out what my 65 is. It's 0.4, it's 1.3.
And you've got 2 minutes, you'll be glad to know. Loads of time.
Go on then.
Ready?
Go on.
Right, spotter on! Right. Okie doke. You understand course of fire, we're all ready to go. Mag in. By the way, have you got a spare mag?
Yeah, I'm just sorting that now.
Because you've got to, you've got 12 shots mag change.
So it's Lucas next, and then Rob.
Right. Okie doke. 5, 4.
3, 2, 1, go.
No, stay there. 120. The big one at the back. No, he's big one at the back now. Impact. Change position. 2. You're on 65. Yeah, 3, yeah. You've had 1 minute left.
My data's all wrong anyway.
No, it's still there, yeah. Oh, yeah, because, yeah, if you move a bit further to the left.
Impact.
And the 2 at the back. Wherever you want, yeah. Right, shoot ready, stand by. Beep.
Yeah, left, 5, yeah. That one, yeah. 10 seconds. Impact. Well done.
Time, resting, great effort.
Unload show clear, please. All clear. Smashing.
Impact. Impact. Impact.
Impact.
Forget it.
And time, resting, great.
We got the mag change there.
How many? So we're building the crates on this one. I'll just wait till Jeff gets back. Okay, doke. You can start with the crates on the left or the right of you, whichever you feel comfortable with. Okay. It is 90 seconds, 10 rounds. It is 2 targets. It is the 65 that you've just been doing, and then it is the one at 110, which actually I can't actually see. Where is it?
Join the club.
It's just left of the 120. See where the
And time. Resting. Great effort.
65. So, if I dial for 110, which is 2.2, I need to aim up for it, so I need to aim 0.8 low. Right. 0.8 low, 0.8 low, 0.8 low, 0.8 low. That's wrong anyway.
Right, squad one, let's have your ear rolls for a sec. Let's get through the briefing. We got everyone. James,
2.2, it's the wrong way around.
It's alright, I'm a little biscuits, but I just need a bit of fucking steam.
Right, I'm sort of ready, Andy.
I did get some TK
I'm ready.
last night and I realised I'm not fucking brilliant.
I'm ready. Is this 12 rounds or 10? Okay.
If you can get to 10 even.
Okay.
I'm not sure anybody's got to. Have you got? You did, didn't you?
Right,
You
I'm
shot
ready.
what?
I shot 9.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I think ish. Maybe.
Right.
Go on then.
Right. So we have a
Yeah,
spotter on.
just crack on.
Right. Okay. So
If it goes ping, I'll call that it. Okay.
okay. 5, 4,
3, 2, 1, go.
65 and 110.
So 2, 4, 6, 8. 10 rounds, yeah? Every we let you start on the top. Near fine. Every just 10 rounds. 10 points. Any questions? Anybody got any questions?
Helps if I shut the bolt, doesn't it?
And then
Oh.
first, it will be. Yeah, Paul. Alright, okay, so you're first. So James first and then Luca. Any spotters or backers? So, flag what's looking forward. Flag out and flag in, please. Fire. In that case, we shall start on the top, yeah. 65. So, second from the last. Right, shoot ready. Stand by. Hit.
And time. Resting. Great effort.
Great effort. Right. So 90 seconds. 16 rounds. So clearly, well, you've got to do 2 mags. Whether you've got a 16 round mag.
I've got a 9 and a 7. Is that okay?
You can do what you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
2 8s.
You've got 8 targets. They have to be shot in order, left to right, and then right to left. So the little one on the right. Let's assume you hit it on the 8th. On the 9th shot, you've got to hit it again. Okay? Yeah. Okay. So.
Do I presume you can't move on till you've hit the one?
No, it's hit or miss. Move on.
Right,
If you
okay.
miss it, you go into the next smaller one, and obviously on the way back, you go
next
into the next bigger one. You get the thing. Any questions for that? It's straightforward. You'll be in the prone position. You cannot view through the scope before. You can put the rifle down. We'll start with the rifle. We'll start with the rifle down, facing up towards the backstop, the target. But you can make sure your parallax is all set and your whatever your wind is and all your bits and bobs. But you can't be looking through before. You've got to find it under time. Yep. Everybody cool with that? Any questions?
10 minutes, yeah?
10 minutes. You can have 10 minutes for getting. I think we should give him an extra 10 seconds for that 10 out of 10 on.
No, I think we should take 10 seconds off him.
Handicap, I like it.
And 10 points.
Which did you get 10 out of 10 on?
I'm going to shut up because I've been walking home.
Lego bricks.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so
Crates.
your runners and riders order are Jeff, Rob L, James T, Ewan, Chris B, Lewis. That's it.
3, 2, 1.
Impact. Impact.
Impact. Impact. Impact.
Impact. Impact.
Impact. Impact. Impact. Impact.
Stop. Okie doke. Right, so I will start with today's winner, and it comes as no surprise. Fresh from his, what shall we call it? No, fresh from his international prowess is Ewan Armstrong with a grand total of what you got? Where are you? 65.
Well done, buddy.
Come forward.
Well done, Ewan.
So, a nice little trophy, a GBPR8 Lodge PR22 winner. So I'll submit those things in top. You remove them back to the leaderboard, Roland, and that. So, yeah, well done. Anybody wants to? Second, with a grand total of 60 and a brilliant showing today, is Paul. That's 2 in a row seconds, isn't it? Yeah,
it is.
well done. Well done. Come on, third place. Who have we got in third? Oh, we've got Rob. Rob DJ. Well done, Rob. Well done, Rob. Excellent. With a grand total of. Hang on a minute. Hang on. Oh,
Rob.
I got a
picture. You really have it in your hand.
What you could have won.
Give me a pebble back.
It's what you could have won. A trip or 2 to Barbados.
It's alright, you're still safe.
Come back. Oh, hang on. Yeah, 62 and 60. So that puts him in front.
Yeah.
Where we gone? Yeah, we got it wrong way around, didn't we?
What's that, 65
Yeah,
there?
we're ignoring them.
No, they're not in. They weren't doing it. They were here for practice. So 60.
Training.
Training, and 6. Sorry. I feel really bad now.
Should we just start the whole thing again?
So,
Just the other way around.
can I now?
Yeah.
No, 62.
Just the other way around.
Yeah, no. But I'm just taking it. I'm just giving. So, our second place today. Our second place is Rob.
Hey!
Give me a minute, you know, I'm winning.
Oh God, bloody hell. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Thanks.
Where did I finish then?
Yeah. So, I'll tell you what, I'll not read them out. I'll let you all look and you find yourself positions.
I did come last. What are you about? Oh no, I came second from last.
So if you want, there's some hats here.
I beat you by a point, Ricky.
If anybody wants to take a hat, there's some MDT, some tier 1 hats, whatever.
I'd have
There's a few
I
left.
won't say no to
Sorry,
a
there's
tier
not
1.
many left now. So,
I definitely won't mind a tier 1.
Do I just ask? What did you get for me in that?
6. Well, that's not bad.
James? What's tier 1?
4. Mate, well done.
Free one.
Tell you what, it's a shame none of this is on video, isn't it?
so who's wrote that there then? So you, it's still the same, innit? Oh yeah. So you get an extra 5, don't you? No, for fuck's sake. Who's wrote 6 then?
Right, you've won it. Congratulations. Give him the medals.
Swap your medals. Do it for me.
I think we're tied, mate. Yeah,
These haven't been through washing in like 2 years. They must
I got 65 as well. See, I got them. So if I got 11, that's an extra, and you count it as 5, that's an extra 5, so 65 and...
So what are these then? Are they not like hits?
Scores they're
Or
called.
the 11s and something?
So basically, yeah, so that, I got 11 out of 12 on that one, and the RO was...
These two. These two guys.
Joint winners after all that. Well done, both of you.
winners, because we've had a good time.
Yay! And you've got sunshine.
Oh, okay, right, I've got a few pictures. Rob, you get in there. Okay. Smile. Sideways 1, 3, you. Smile.
do a lot of scoring.
Very good.
Welcome to Chris Parkin Shooting Sports. Totally different video today. It's Friday today, and last Saturday I actually went and did a PRS rimfire shoot. One of my mates, Andy, has been badgering me to do these for absolutely ages. He got, I sort of met him about 18 months ago doing a bit of rimfire plinking shooting, and he got really into centerfire PRS and then into rimfire PRS to the extent he's now gone down the whole NRA route, become a range officer for whatever that means, and he's, you know, laying on some PRS shoots locally as well as attending PRS shoots all over the country. For rimfire specifically, I think he's actually got a little bit, I won't say bored of the centerfire, but I think he likes the rimfire so much more. And I must admit, I love rimfire shooting because number one, it is so cheap, it's so accessible, you don't need massive amounts of equipment and blah blah blah. There's a good video on my channel actually about shooting long range rimfire with an ultra cheap rifle, which I did, and you'll have seen this rifle used loads on various videos and scope tests. So, given the fact it's September, it's nearly the end of summer, if it's not the end of summer, nearly autumn, whichever you want to call it, I thought this could be the last of the decent weather. Do you know what? I'm going to do this. I didn't have anything particular to do that Saturday, so I took the rifle out on Friday afternoon and I thought I'll set it up, get some good drops, because normally I use this rifle for scope testing and for shooting a bit of long range rimfire. I don't do multi-distance stuff. Some of you know, not everybody does. I am actually physically disabled and I do have quite bad problems with my back, and I thought it always kind of put me off, but I thought, do you know what, I'll give it a go. It can't be that bad and I'll go for a bit of fun. And to be fair, I got a what 3 words address, told to be there for 9 o'clock Saturday morning, so I did. All I did when I was on the range on, well, I say the range, down the farm on Friday afternoon, was I took 4 different types of ammunition and thought, right, which have I got the most of? I had some SK Standard Plus, I had some SK Match, I had some R100 and some R50 from both my RWS. And actually, as it happened, the largest quantity I had remaining was R50, so I thought I'll have a good shoot this afternoon, play about with some stuff, check some ballistics, just check which of them seems to shoot the best. And I didn't want to go with the R100 because I'm not really a big fan of supersonic ammunition. The R50 is actually running 1130 some feet per second on that day at 26, 27 degrees air temperature, which is still subsonic at that, but in the winter that will be supersonic because of the difference in speed of sound and air temperature. SK Standard Plus has always been a superb ammunition, great, very reliable in any air temperature, to be honest, but maybe not just quite as consistent as the Match or the R50. And say the R100 I'm not really so bothered about because it's super quick and it's never subsonic. The other thing I like about rimfire is that you can run it subsonic. You can run it with a moderator and it's not bothersome. And when it's, you know, a really hot day, and it was actually probably about 30 degrees on last Saturday when we were shooting, who wants to be wearing ear defenders? I turned up in a pair of shorts, t-shirt and my trainers because I really was insistent. I've had a long year this year and I thought I'm getting a bit bored of shooting. And I thought I need to reinvigorate myself a little bit, because rather than just testing gun after gun after gun after gun after gun, and every trip I go out I've got to make a film or got to film video something or got to, you know, record data or get targets, this thing that, I want to actually enjoy it. And when I went to the game fair in, when was it, July now, I got a set of these given to me. They're the AimCam 3K Pro glasses. Now these have got a little camera on the front there, and you've got various buttons on the side so you can switch them on and it will record everything. It also records sound, and I thought this is a great opportunity. I'm just going to put them on, get in a car and go, and then I'll worry about what I get there and the footage afterwards and this, that and the other. And literally all I had to do was turn them on, which is a hold down on that button there on the left hand side, and there's a little vibration, and I just put them on, and when I want to record something I just press the button and it just records where I'm looking. Now these are very popular for certain shooting disciplines. I won't kid you and try and tell you they're perfect for everything, because of course your head position when you're with a shotgun could be like this, and when you're with a rifle it can't see through the scope, and you know, it doesn't matter which side you put the camera on or exactly how you angle it quite, it can't always perfectly replicate what your human eyeball sees. But I think it does actually quite a good job. And you know, if the other thing was, I think I maybe set it up looking maybe a little bit low, and I could have set it up a little bit higher, but you've got to sort of average it out for what you're going to be doing through the day, because you can pair it wirelessly to your smartphone. So you know, you can look through it and look at your phone and see exactly if it's pointing where you're looking, which, depending on what shooting discipline you're going to be doing that day, you might want to swap it left to right, or you might want to change the angle slightly rotationally or up and down, just to suit exactly what you want to get. So you'll see that footage pretty much, let's call it raw, because I just sort of put the lens about right, set it going whenever I felt like it, put it on a few other people at times to video whatever else was going on, and just let it go, because I didn't want to be setting up cameras. I didn't want to be videoing targets. I wanted to actually try and enjoy shooting. So we get to the shoot. It's about a 40-minute drive. I'm living in West Yorkshire, Wakefield, and the shoot was down sort of Sheffield way. And it was a really lovely day. The weather was beautiful. You know, you don't often get that. We were very high up on top of the on top of the Pennines there, and who couldn't ask for more? So anyway, I thought I'll see what I get from this. I'm gonna have a drink of tea now as well on camera. So so there we go. So what did I take with me? I took the 457 LRP. It's got an Element Helix. Is this a Helix? Sorry, this is the Titan 3 to 1850 scope on it. Milradian's first focal plane. I've got adjustable cheek piece. I put it sort of about intermediate because I thought I'd be shooting from different positions. I took a pair of binoculars just because I thought I'll just take some binoculars just so I'm not completely blind if I'm spotting all day or watching all day. And I took the closest approximation I had to what I've seen PRS shooters using as a sort of rest bag. Bipod's still on, and everybody goes, what's this barrel tuner on the end here? And to be quite honest, it's a piece of tape. I can't even remember what it went on for, but I've left it on really for ages now because everybody finds it so fascinating. They think it's some secret barrel tuner. It's not, it's a piece of tape. I think it was to put the barrel in a vice or something like that. I left the SAC moderator on because obviously it's nice and quiet, and I do really like this rifle. It's one of the few rifles I've ever bought off test because I liked it that much, because it's been a constant companion. I've got mega amounts of elevation dialed in because I've got adjustable FX rings on it. There's 25 MOA I think on the rail as well. I don't need that for PRS. The only thing I specifically bought was, I think this gun did actually come with a 10-round magazine, but I seem to be using it with a 5-round all the time. Anyway, I went to Swillington Shooting Supplies and I bought a couple more 10-round magazines, which I think were these two because they've got slightly different logos on now, the new ones, the 10-round. So, because I wasn't sure how much I'd need. In the end, well, we'll get to that in a minute. What else did I do? And I didn't buy anything else. I took a packed lunch and I took a bottle of water and a hat, and that was about it. I did take sun cream, but I didn't put it on because I do actually have a competition background in different sport, and I learnt a long time ago, if you put sun cream on your face and you know it goes in your eyes, and once it goes in your eyes you're a bit stuck, so wear a hat, in my opinion, and a collar as well. Right, so let me tell you about this shoot. I won't say I didn't, you know, run the FX chronograph. I got all my ballistics sorted, I knew what my extreme spreads were, and I pumped it through my Kestrel, and I ended up with a cheat sheet, or well, we used to call it cheat sheet in archery. Technically for rifle shooting it's called DOPE, data on previous engagement. So I got forwarded all the details of all the targets we'd be shooting at. I mean, distances between 50 and 127 meters, and basically I wrote down my DOPE for each one of those. As it happened, they worked beautifully actually, and to be honest, listening to a lot of people shooting that same day, most people were in Milradians, and you could hear people, you know, tittle-tattling about what data they were putting in, and they also, you know, you'd hear their data, and it will be the same as yours, because we're all shooting very similar ballistics and bullets. And that's about that. So the shoot started. We sort of split. I think there were 11. No, there were 13 shooters there, but 2 of them were officially training because they hadn't zeroed their rifles apparently. So because they had to zero their rifles on the day, they couldn't compete, which is why they were training. And that was that. So there were 11 competitors. There were a few people turned up with obviously quite a lot of sponsorship going on. There were some very professional looking rifles. It was all very nice to see. They had all the clothing on. They had all the accessory belts and everything. And I thought, you know, good. That's, you know, serious people there. And I really had no expectations whatsoever, because I certainly didn't want to go in and say, oh, I'm the big this, that and the other, because most people there knew who I was, and I think there was probably quite a bit of kind of, I wonder what he'll be like actually in the flesh. But anyway, we did the briefing. We split into two sort of squads, like a 5 and a 6. I think there were 11 shooters, like I said, and I think there were 6 people in my squad and 5 in the other. So one lot shot that set of targets, we shot this set of targets. Then about lunchtime, we all swapped over and we went through the day. And essentially, what we had was you'd have a different kind of rest or shooting procedure, and you'd have usually 1 or 2 targets at different distances, and you would have a procedure. You have, you know, like a 90 seconds or 120 seconds or something, and you had to, you know, go between 3 or 5 positions or something, and you'd be swapping off the top of tank trap tops, or you'd be slotting through ladders, or you'd be on the top of rubber tires, or you'd be on a barricade, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. And that was that. So I kind of thought, well, we all took it in turns to shoot first, but by the time it came to me shooting first, I'd kind of got the gist of how it all worked and what was going on. And so I quite enjoyed watching other people doing it and sort of assimilating to it. I apparently shot quite well from the start onward. What I would say is that I had a vague idea of what you needed to do, because I've heard stuff go on in the past, and essentially if you've got 2 targets at 2 distances, so for example, if you've got a 55, well, let's pick 2 a bit further back, say you've got a 65 and 110, my drops are 0.4 and 2.2 mils, so you've really got to choose one of those that you're going to dial for, and then choose one you're going to aim off for. So I tended to go with the theory, I'll dial for the long one, and I will aim off for the short one. So if I went 2.2 mils on the 110 target, I know I needed to aim 0.8 mils low for the shorter target. Now, my theory behind this was that the longer targets were a little bit more visible, and one of the problems I have with my eyesight is that I'm not very quick in picking up targets and focusing at speed. So I thought, I'll go with a long target, and I'll aim, you know, I'll get my good aim point on that, and then for the shorter target, because you don't usually have to shoot like a long and a short, sorry, you'd shoot a short and a long, and then a change position, a short and a long, change position, a short and a long. It did vary a bit, but you get the idea, it all moved around. So I set for the long one and aimed off for the short one, or aimed low for the short one. And I think I was right to do that, I was happy with that, but I did struggle a little bit, because you have kind of got to choose the magnification setting you want on your scope, and then you got to live with it, because you haven't really got a lot of time to change it. You certainly haven't got, although I did see one guy dialing between, you know, shot 1, bang, click, shot 2, bang, click back, shot 3, you know, and he'd be clicking backwards and forwards, but you've got to combine that with magazine changes and all sorts. And to be honest, I didn't find it difficult to remember I needed to aim for the close target a different way. What I did have problems with was picking targets out, and especially the shorter targets. There were quite a lot dotted around, and from your perspective, it was a bit tricky sometimes to see which was which. And the calls I was getting from behind were essentially, yeah, you still shoot, you know, I was hitting every target I aimed at. I just wasn't necessarily aiming at the correct target at the correct time. But it was quite fun. One of the early stages I did make a complete mess up though, because when I was standing up I didn't realise the barricade wasn't actually very secure, and I did actually basically fall completely face first over the barricade, but you know, it was fun. A bit of a twist, a bit of a bad back from it, but I carried on. And the other thing I learned was equipment based. Well, different stages. Some stages, if there were 10 rounds, 1 magazine would be enough. There was other stages where you had a compulsory mag change, or there were some stages where you physically had to change mags because you needed more than 10 rounds. And I don't think anybody had more than a 10 round mag. I think one stage was 12 rounds. So whatever way you did it, you know, you were going to need 2 mags. That was no issue. You know, you just get used to changing over. There didn't appear to be anybody who was absolutely blistering through the times. Nobody seemed to be shooting at light speed and they had, you know, 5-10 seconds left, because as the clock runs out, and it's all done on an official timer, the range officer will be there standing with you, Andy will be there standing with you, you know, 30 seconds or 10 seconds or whatever. I can't really remember because, to be honest, I just get on with it and just shoot, and when they say stop, I just stop, and if I haven't done it, I haven't done it. And it was sort of quite nice in a way that I don't think anybody was easily blistering through the targets and getting done quickly. I mean, some people were getting them all finished, but I think the percentage were maybe a shot down at the end. You know, they'd maybe only got 9 shots off, not the whole 10 or whatever. And I quite like that because it leaves a lot of space for shooting well, as opposed to, and especially when it's a hit or miss sport. Just to give you a little bit about my history, I was on the Great Britain archery team, and when you were shooting indoors, you hit the 10 or you hit the 9. That was it. And you had 60 arrows, and essentially you were expected to hit the 10 every time. And every 9 you shot was just and you could never get them back. So, you know, the perfect score was 600, and you ended up, you know, whatever you were going to do, it was always going to be less than that. Since I retired, one guy did actually get 600, but I think the best I ever did was like a 585, and, you know, whatever. So it was a bit, I wouldn't say it was disheartening, but you just realised you could not afford to miss because you couldn't pick it back up anywhere else indoor archery. Field archery was the same, and those are the 2 sports I shot Great Britain team for. Target archery outdoors I never did very well at, and that was one more where you weren't kind of dropping points, you had to build points. So I don't know, maybe it's just part of the way my brain was settled or not, I don't know, but to be honest I used to get fed up shooting bows and arrows in the wind outdoors, so I wasn't hugely good at it. Where do we get to now? So essentially, yeah, not everybody was blistering through it, and you could see that there was space for mess ups and misses, because, and you had to, you know, just redouble your efforts to make sure you didn't miss any more. So you didn't kind of, I mean, I once went to Las Vegas and I knew I wouldn't do brilliantly well, but I wanted to do the World Archery Festival in Las Vegas, and you're just waiting for that first arrow where you miss the 10, because you think I've traveled, you know, X thousand miles, and eventually, you know, I think I shot 3 down off 30 arrows, and I was 3 out of the 10, and I was really happy with that. I was really chuffed with how I did, but I knew the first one had come, and it just does. So in the opposite way, I quite like the PRS thing, because, you know, you can always make those points back. Anyway, I digress. Right, so it was fun. The multi-position thing actually wasn't the problem I thought. The dancing around and moving about wasn't the problem I thought. We weren't running around anywhere, but we're often, you know, getting up, sitting down, kneeling down, laying down, standing up, moving from tank trap top to tank trap top, etc., etc. The only one I think I really struggled with was one of them. I wouldn't say really struggled, but it was a bit more difficult. One of them was like a ladder, lent at an angle. It was all, you know, locked in place, and you had little bits of red tape on, because you had like position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, and you had to move between each one. And I think the only place I really struggled was that one, because I think I would have preferred a bag with maybe like a rubber base on it, so it stuck a little bit in place without sliding down the ladder. Some people did have, I mean, this isn't a PRS rifle, but some people did have more specific PRS type rifles where you've got, especially with an Arca rail. We didn't get too bothered about whether they were factory rifles or not factory rifles. People just shot what they had. So if you had an Arca rail, that was great, because you could bipod and everything like that on it. But a lot of people, or certainly a few people, there's only 11 people there, but they had basically a bag that had an Arca attachment on it. So the bag was physically stuck to your rifle when you were moving around. Now, not that that was any particular support benefit over putting it down and just holding it in place, but it did mean on that sloping one that you weren't trying to hold your bag and your gun and the bar. You only had to hold 2 of them, not 3 of them. So I think in that, a bit of rubber on there would have helped a bit, but I wasn't really bothered about it. It was just fun to just have a go at this thing. Laterally to that, essentially, you know, there were some of the things that, you know, there was one stage which was like a tyre placed on its side with another one on top of it. I thought that was quite tactical, actually, and I think I did actually quite well on that one, because it seemed obvious to me that on a rubber tyre I didn't really need to bother with my rest bag. Either the time it took to put it in place and hold it in place, or to adjust it and move it round, swapping between different positions when you were going through them or over the top of them. So I didn't see the point in the rest bag, so I didn't bother, and I think in that respect I probably found that stage a bit easier, a little bit less time pressure on it. I'm not sure, I mean, everybody's got their own preferences. I certainly wouldn't put a rifle on a hard surface and shoot it. I would always use a soft bag or something like that. But on that rubber tyre seemed to make sense to me not to use that, and I think that's part of the fun of PRS, that different strategies and different techniques make sense to different people. Didn't have any problems with the rifle. Ironically though, on the very last stage, which I thought, oh, that's written for me, this last stage, because on one of the first stages we'd done some speed shooting prone at 100 metres, and I really was quick on that. I think I probably got the highest score on that. I didn't really look, but looking at the actual target afterwards, I thought, well, I think 9 out of 10 of mine went in the circle, and I got them all done within the time. So no, sorry, I got 8 out of 10 on that. I think I did see one other 8 out of 10, but none of the others. And that was written for me because it was prone shooting off a bipod. You know, you've seen me do that 101 times. That's just bread and butter to me. Anyway, that was one of the first stages. One of the know your limits things, you had to pick one of the target sizes you were going to go for first. And you had to stay on that target size. So I picked target size. I picked the third one. I won't pick the biggest, but I won't pick the smallest. And because the smallest was worth more points, you had 10 shots, I think, at it. I can't remember. And you had to pick one and shoot it X number of times, and that was your score. In fact, no, you had a short one and then a long one, and you had to keep shooting. So I had to keep shooting target 3. I think target 3 was chosen by a few people. A couple of people chose very small targets, which were worth more points, but I don't think they got the full number of hits. I did get the full number of hits. So again, it's all the tactics of how you want to score. What else can I say? Yeah, so going right through to the end, the last stage was the know your limits target, and I think you had to shoot. There are 8 targets. Know your limits is basically you've got one that size, one that size, one that size, one that size, and you descend in order. So you shot one's on the biggest one and shot 8 was on the smallest one, and you then I think had to swap mag and go 8 all the way back up. I don't know because I didn't finish it, because after absolutely nailing these targets during the competition at speed, when I had this seemingly easy, just get down prone and shoot it 16 times or whatever it was, I was completely missing it. And that was, I think the big ones were 4 inches, 100 millimeters, 100 meters. I totally missed it with the first X number of shots, and I thought, do you know what? I've no idea where these are going. I just you know what, it doesn't matter. I just give up, because I had no idea I was anywhere in the scoring or anything like that. And I was having a laugh, but I just thought, I'm just wasting bullets. I'm just flinging bullets into nothing, because I had no idea where they were going. So so that was that, and I still don't know even now where exactly they were going. But anyway. That was the thing, and then we had the prize giving, and a young lad won it who just done some international competition. He probably says that in the video. And then there was a bit of a, I wouldn't say argy-bargy, but Andy didn't do the best job of the maths working out who got second and third place, and in the end it actually turned out to be a joint win and a second place for Rob. Was it Rob DJ? Rob. I can't think of his surname now. Rob from Edgar Brothers. Anyway, he came joint. Well, he came third because there was a joint win. So there we go. And it was really good fun, and I did enjoy it, and it was a very nice day. And I know I got invited to the same shoot about 3 or 4 weeks previously, and I didn't go for some reason, and apparently it absolutely heaved it down with rain, so I'm not missing on that. Am I driven to go back and do more PRS shoots? No, not really. I enjoyed the one I did. I think in the end I got 6th place out of 11 shooters. I'm very happy with that, considering I completely messed up one of the easiest stages, which should have been absolute easy for me, but there we go. And the gun worked fine, and you've seen on the video obviously the glasses in use, and I could have, you know, gone out and measured targets and done a whole match report on this, that and the other, but I didn't want to. I wanted once this year to just have some fun shooting, and I did. So on that note, thank you to Andy Cudworth for inviting me, for organising the shoot and running it for everybody. Thank you to all the other competitors who were there, because we all had a good day. There was lots of chit chat going on and this, that and the other, and everybody was ribbing each other about this and that, and it was a really good time, and I did enjoy it a lot. Maybe I'll do another, I don't know, but it was just good fun. And if you want to have a go at it, don't feel you need loads of gear, because there was one guy there and he shot with an air, well, so he wasn't in the competition, but he was trying to do some of the targets, and he had an FX air rifle. It was a sub 12, so he was shooting different distances, and he was kind of on his own category anyway, but he was enjoying himself and shooting. And there were various different rimfires there of all sorts of different prices and factors. There was Accuracy International, which I think a ticker, Yeah, that's the thing. I wasn't even looking at the guns, and usually I can look at a gun from 100 yards and know what it is. I think the Accuracy Internationals might have had Ticker T1s in them, but I really can't say for sure. They could have been Bagaras, they could have been anything. There were some sponsored Bagara shooters there, and that was that. There was one other guy who had the newer black CZ LRP. There were some various other things I'd never seen before, and that was that. So yes, if you fancy having a go at Rimfire PRS, do it. It's going to be winter now, so maybe leave it till next year, but I had great fun. So thank you to everybody who did it, and thank you all for watching. And as I always say, if you like my channel, thank you for watching it, and please like and subscribe and click that notification bell so you can keep track of my regular uploads, because I'm always reviewing rifles of some sort or another, air guns, rimfires, centerfires. I've got quite a lot of night vision, thermal stuff going on. I don't do too much with that because it's, I don't know, I find it's all a little bit subjective in certain ways. But there we go. Right, thank you for watching. Bye for now. I'm gasping for breath. I'm having a cup of tea now. I did have some notes here. I never looked at them once, did I? Flags. Oh yeah, I put wind flags out when I was actually getting my zero the day before the shoot, because I thought I'm really going to have to pay attention and make sure this zero is as good as possible, because usually when I'm shooting a gun, the following day I'll have a different gun, different scope, different ammo, so whatever, so I don't really bother getting super confirmed zeros, but I did on this occasion, so I used my wind flags. I did a bit of steel shooting just because I find it easy shooting steel for zeroing, or certainly for checking drops, because you can see your in point easily. I use the FX chronograph, which is a bit Gucci for a lot of people. It's fantastically useful though. So I did have exact data, both ballistic coefficient and muzzle velocity, to feed into my ballistic program. I did it on my phone, and I also did it on the Kestrel, checked them against each other, and they were both good. So I just, like I said, I wrote them down on the cheat sheet. Good zero, it says here. Yeah, I did make sure I had a really good zero. And if there's one thing I learned in all my years, is that if you're doing multi-range competitions, after every stage, dial your scope back to zero and make sure you've put everything back as it is, because if you don't come away from that stage having done that, you're likely to go into the next stage and at worst find yourself a rotation out, or totally the wrong magnification, or this, that and the other. So you do just have to have a little think ahead of time. The magnification on the scope is quite important, because of course most people are shooting first focal plane, which I would thoroughly recommend, because you can obviously aim off or dial off, but you need to make sure that you're in position, and usually you've got a countdown 3, 2, 1, and you drop to the floor and your gun's in place, or you kneel to the target, whatever. You haven't really got time to mess around too much with your scopes. So you need to make sure that your parallax is approximately set up and your magnification set up, so you've got the right field of view if you're going to have to search around for targets again, which is something I struggle with a lot. That kind of came opposite to the fact that I could have done with the scope wound up more for actually doing the aim offs, because I can hold pretty still with a rifle, but I needed the wider field of view to make sure I found the targets. And of course you were kind of finding some of the targets in relation to other targets, and you needed to be able to sort of go, it's the one to the left of the other two, or whatever. So I needed that field of view. So picking that and getting a bit of experience of that was very worthwhile. Illumination on or off, you might choose it, you might not. I think, I'm 45 now. My eyesight is not what it was 10 years ago. It certainly wasn't what it was 20 years ago when I was doing archery. But you've kind of got to make what works for you. And if you need the illumination on because you want to see the reticle a little bit easier, that's fair enough. I was in mil radians. First focal plane, it's my preference, but there was another guy there. Most of the guys were using mil radians. One guy was using minutes of angle, and he got a load of grief and ribbing for that, because it's definitely not well, there's nothing wrong with it, but the thing is, if you don't know your own data, you can't easily share it with other people if they're going to give you a bit of a cheat on something. And most people were talking mils, so the guy in minutes was kind of a bit of a best get the calculator out kind of thing. But that's all stuff you can set about and play with. And at the end of the day, it's called data on previous engagement, because you'll find shooting an awful lot easier if you have practiced for real and not just thrown it all into a ballistic calculator. I was perhaps fortunate, I'm going on now, aren't I? I was perhaps fortunate in the fact that I do kind of take all that completely for granted. It's so thoroughly programmed into me that I don't have to think about it at all. All I had to think about was finding the right target and making sure I was swapping positions correctly. Those were the only two things I had to think about. So you know, that's going to apply differently to everybody, because everybody's going to have strong points or weaker points, or things they know automatically and things they need to learn and work through a little bit. And that was it for me. So there we go. Right, I really am going to go now, because even if I've gulped that down, I fancy another cup of tea. Enjoy your shooting. Have a nice autumn.